Moses Itauma names Agit Kabayel as his biggest rival. Now, this is coming from an interview that he did with the Ring magazine. And although the interview is not out yet, we have some quotes that we can look at. And as you can see there, Itauma was asked what he thinks about Agit Kabayel and where he puts Agit Kabayel in the heavyweight division. And this is what he said. He says, it will have to be Agit Kabayel. He's pretty much beating everyone who is rising right now. So he will probably be the biggest rival. So look, Itauma realizes that Agit Kabayel is a real threat. He realizes that Agit Kabayel is a proper fighter and of course deserving of the WBC title, which currently he is the WBC champion. And look, if you follow this channel for a while, you would know that I have always sung Agit Kabayel's praises. I think he's really good. I think he's diligent. I think he's a fantastic fighter. And I think he fights totally different to anyone else in the heavyweight division. Kabayel invests in the body in the earlier rounds and then go head hunting in the latter rounds. And there's not many people in the heavyweight division that fight like Kabayel, you know, with that sort of passion and with that body work and just relentless, you know, coming forward on the front foot, and very strong fighter. So I really like Kabayel's fighting style. However, there are two things that I have to criticize Kabayel about. And number one is that Kabayel does not fight frequently enough. Kabayel is not active enough. And I think that is going to come back and bite him in the backside at some point in his career. Because as you can see here, 2026, earlier this year, Kabayel fought Damien Kniba, right? He fought Damien Kniba. And then in 2025, he fights Zhile Zhang. So far in 2026, we haven't seen any announcement of who Kabayel is fighting. So he fought in January and then he hasn't fought. And the year is coming to an end. Now look at this. He fought Zhile Zhang in 2025. Only that. And then he fought Frank Sanchez in 2024. So in the biggest fights of his career, the fight that he's performed the best is Frank Sanchez and Zhile Zhang. And both fighters were just one fight each year. So 2024 and 2025. And then he fought Arslan Makhmudov in 2023. Earlier on in 2023, he fought Smakiki. So what we're having here is Agit Kabayel just fighting 2 times in 2023. And then from 2024, 2025 and 2026, Agit Kabayel not being active enough. And I don't think that is good for any heavyweight to not fight as much as possible. And at least I think every heavyweight should be fighting at least twice a year. The best option is to fight 3 times a year, because I think that is when heavyweights are primed and they're active and they know what they're doing. Because when you look back in the days, the likes of Ali, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, these guys, they fought a lot, you know, back in the days, because the fights were frequent and they were very active. But these days, you know, these guys are not very active. And then number 2, I think Agit Kabayel's team are doing him a disservice, because a fighter as good as Kabayel, I don't understand why his team do not promote him as much as they can. Like, Agit Kabayel does not get the promotion machine behind him that he should get. I think Agit Kabayel's team should be making videos and telling the world that this guy is a great fighter. And I think his team lets him down, why they don't promote him enough. So a lot of people, apart from maybe hardcore fans, people actually don't know Agit Kabayel. And he's massive in Germany. Like, Agit Kabayel has a big name in Germany and within the Kurdish community. So Agit Kabayel is someone that I think they should be pushing and they should be getting his name out there, because I think he deserves it. So look, Agit Kabayel, you know, he's a top fighter, but Moses Itauma is right. Agit Kabayel is his biggest rival in the heavyweight division right now. And I think, you know, in a few years' time, maybe next year or even later next year, this is a fight that we could see if Moses Itauma comes through against Filip Hrgović, which is a fight that we're going to see very soon. And there's so much being made about Moses Itauma versus Filip Hrgović, who has got the best chin, who can take a shot, who's fast, who's not, who's durable. When that fight is over, this is the fight, Agit Kabayel versus Moses Itauma, that we have to see. Because from the stylistic point of view, I think this is a great fight, because both fighters bring something different to the fight that I think we haven't seen in a long time, because we know that Moses Itauma, is a front foot fighter, a southpaw, quick hands, quick feet, good boxing brain, and he likes to go for the kill. Agit Kabayel, on the other hand, is also similar, likes to fight on the front foot, is not scared of anything. He loves to take shots because he wants to land his own shot. And as I said, he goes to the body, try and slow the feet down and then try to go upstairs later on in the fight. So stylistically, I think it's a great fight. Of course, Moses Itauma has his advantages, which is being fast, being young, being able to maybe circle around Agit Kabayel a little bit more. But Kabayel is also really dangerous when he goes to the body and stays very close. Now, Moses Itauma probably will not want Kabayel to get close as possible. Itauma will probably keep Kabayel at the end of the jab and basically use his reach and try and get him out of there, because if he allows Kabayel to get close, then it's going to be a really, really interesting fight. But look, Itauma is right. Kabayel is no one to be played with. Alexander Usyk, I thought, should have fought Agit Kabayel, and that's a fight that we never saw, because at the time I was saying that the only fighter that can give Alexander Usyk a good test was Agit Kabayel, and unfortunately we never saw that fight. The thing about Agit Kabayel is, even when he was fighting Zhile Zhang, he took some big shots. He got dropped on a canvas, he got up, and as you can see on your screen, he put Zhile Zhang on a canvas about 2 or 3 times with some incredible body assault. And Zhang, as hard as he hits, he's a tricky southpaw, and in the end he was on a canvas and didn't know where he was, because Kabayel has beaten the fight out of him. Now, maybe that is an example that Kabayel can use against Moses Itauma, because Moses Itauma is also a southpaw. So Kabayel has the experience of fighting southpaw and being victorious. And of course, the other fight that Kabayel gets a lot of plaudits for is against Frank Sanchez. Now, people will talk about the fact that Frank Sanchez was injured coming into this fight, and that's a fair point, but you can only beat who's in front of you. And Agit Kabayel got in that ring and did a number on Frank Sanchez. That was a beatdown. And once again, he went to the body in the earlier rounds, took the legs away, and then went upstairs and got rid of Frank Sanchez in a devastating fashion. So yes, Agit Kabayel is a very devastating puncher. He's a really good fighter, and he's got a big following behind him, and that is something that I think his team need to tap into. They need to tap into the fact that this guy is a real star if they can put some social media sort of push behind him and get his name out there. He can speak pretty good English as well, so it wouldn't be difficult to market a guy like that can get a lot of knockouts as well. So look, I'm looking forward to this potential fight, and hopefully we get it for the unification fight between Moses Itauma and Agit Kabayel, which is the IBF and the WBC belt being in contention. I feel like this is a fight where we can have the first and a rematch, because I feel like this is a fight that is going to be so competitive that people would want to get a rematch and see what happens, because I think if Itauma should win the first fight, Agit Kabayel would want to have a rematch to redeem himself. And the good thing is both fighters are under Frank Warren, and we know the way Frank Warren works. He knows how to get things in the right places and get the biggest fight on. So I don't think that Kabayel versus Moses Itauma for a unification fight is difficult to make. I think it's an easy fight to make. I think Itauma will be up for it, and I think Kabayel would also be up for it. But guys, I am interested to know what you guys think about it. According to Moses Itauma, Agit Kabayel is his biggest rival right now in the heavyweight division. What do you think about it? Do you give Kabayel any chance against Moses Itauma, or do you give Moses Itauma any chance against Agit Kabayel? Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it.